Morning. Just going to add Andrea here. Good morning. Thank you for joining. There we go. I think this worked. Let's see. So, oh. Sorry, I should say out loud what's going on, which is that I'm repeatedly inviting Andrea and oh, there we go.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. It worked. Okay. My ceiling is a little crooked, but I'm going to leave it because I don't want it to fall over.
Hopefully we're better synced up than we were last time, but if I talk all over you, sorry.
I think we are. I feel like this time is better.
It seems like lots of people are joining this morning. That is great. Do you want to give a quick preview of what we're going to chat about before we get into it?
Today we are going to talk about a new book on my end, which launched yesterday. The official publication was yesterday. Ooh, yay, we both have one. Yeah. So we're going to discuss that a little bit. I'm going to talk about the process and what I'm excited about. And Catherine, what about you?
Well, I think we can keep it mostly about your book. That's a big deal, but I have been working on these for what feels like forever. Whale socks. This is a pod of orcas. Each one of those stripes is a different whale. So I'm very excited about them. So I'll briefly mention them, I think, at the end. But so your book officially launched yesterday.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting. I feel like my Instagram was maybe not half people gushing over your book yesterday, but like many, many people were very excited. So it was great to see. I'm super excited.
Yeah. It's been really delightful to see the responses so far. We've already seen a few reviews, and I really, really appreciate everybody who has said congratulations or who has showed me their book that they got. And I'm excited to see like what people start to make, because I feel like that is going to be the best part, is like as people start to get their books and they start to stick the little sticky notes in there and then they start making. That's what I am very excited about.
There's my sticky notes. And I
feel like Post-it notes maybe should like come with the book, or maybe. Yeah. Okay. Hi, NJ. I'm at a work training, so I'll have to watch later. No problem. Yeah, we will post this later. So if you can't watch right now, that's totally fine. It might take us a little while, but we will share this for later. So if you want to watch it later. Okay. So I think enough people have joined. So maybe I'll just get started on discussing my book. So a lot of folks who are here with me and Catherine might just be familiar with me as doing collaborations with Catherine, and that is awesome. That's one thing that I love to do, but I love a lot of things about knitting, and color work is definitely one of my passions. So you might know that I wrote another stitch dictionary that's totally, completely stranded color work, very specific and niche. And that was published in 2017. So I was excited to be able to publish a companion to Alternate. And if you know Alternate, you know it has like a lot of motifs in there. That's basically color work charts that you can use in your own knitting or your own designs. And I wanted to have a book that expanded on that. Yeah, there's Catherine's copy of Alternate.
I'm going to be the visual aid person here.
Yeah. So I wanted to expand on that with a new book that has some similar themes and also expands the motifs. So there's a lot more motifs in here. That one she's holding up is Alternate, but we have a lot of botanicals in this one. We got really nerdy and excited about leaves and flowers. Let's see if I can find, here's some more botanicals. We've got grapes and all sorts of things. So yay, Yvonne in Detroit ordered a copy of the book that will be delivered today. Hooray, thank you so much. But we also have a lot of like animal motifs and some silly stuff. We've got this rat, we've got a lot of people have been noticing the porcelain thrones. I can't believe that. I don't know. It's a funny one that that is I don't know, silly. We just like to have some silly stuff. I love the nautilus motif, and that one is in one of the patterns. So the book also has 3 patterns, as well as having the motif. So it has a sweater, that's the yoke of the sweater, and some mitts that use the nautilus. There we go. And then also a toque. If I can find the toque, there's the toque. So that's a pretty crown. And the difference in these projects, as opposed to the projects that were included in the first book, is the first book was about being able to take one motif and kind of just insert it into a project and then repeat it and use it in different ways that way. With these 3 projects, I wanted to go a little bit further with that. So all 3 of the projects modify the motifs, and 2 of them use 2 different motifs. So the crown of the hat is taking the motif, the all over motif, and then kind of like stretching it out and changing it so that it fits a crown. And the mitts feature, I think, 4 different charts all combined together. And the gusset chart is a little bit modified in order to make it the shape of a gusset. And then the sweater takes a leaf and a flower and modifies the leaf in order to make it sort of a wedge shape. So with those patterns, there's also instructions on kind of how to do that yourself. And there are also blank charts that you can sort of stick your own motifs into. So I'm hoping that folks who are excited about color work will get a chance to really express themselves and try out new things and kind of customize. So if anybody has questions about the book as we go along, please feel free to go ahead and ask, and we will try and answer them as we go. The other thing that I really love about this book that I got to do, which was really important to me and was like one of my main things that I wanted to have in this book, was a section on yarn. And so I have this whole big section that has 17, I think, different kinds of yarn that are swatched in the same motif. And the idea in this section was for me to use these sort of specific examples that fit into categories and then describe my experience. You can't touch them, which is like would be the most ideal, but I think having the photographs and the descriptions will help you to think about what are the characteristics of yarn that you should be thinking about when you are deciding what to use specifically in color work. So those are the main bullet points, I think. But again, thank you to everybody who has been excited about this book. And like the first one, my partner and I did do it together. So he designed the motifs and named them. And then I did all the knitting and wrote all the text and all the technical things in there. So yeah, that's my book.
Well, can I just show some of the ones that, some of the motifs that I put my stickers on? Because I love them. Oh.
Yay, dinosaurs!
Dinosaurs, which actually, now that hold on, let me. I think there are not enough opportunities for adults to have dinosaurs on their clothing. So I think that's great. Well, gingerbread guys are great too, but those crabs, look at those crabs.
Yeah, we have 2 kinds of crabs. So if you're into that, there's plenty.
I know 100% I will never knit because there's no like easily identifiable pattern, but that's kind of the whole point. Yeah. I think the cheap print is amazing.
Gotta have an animal print in there.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons that these books are so great is that you do have the patterns, but the patterns are more of I don't know if workshop is the right word, but you've done so many of your thoughts of like, this is why you made the choices, so that this is a starting point for people, not you can do whatever you want with these. And it's like a starting point rather than just instructions you have to follow. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I will say right now, one of the main questions that I get about these books is like, how can I use the motifs, and do I have to credit, or how does that work? So the way that it works is that anyone can use the motifs, just like a Barbara Walker Stitch Dictionary or any other Stitch Dictionary. These motifs are available for you to use in your own work, whether that's for your personal use or for designing. The only restrictions on them are that you can't make a photocopy or take a photo or take a screenshot and then just pass that off as your own or publish it. You have to create your own format and your own numbers and things like that. But if you wanted to, say, design a hat, and you come up with all the gauge and the numbers, and then you take a motif from the book and you put that on the hat, you create a chart, that you can keep that, sell that, whatever you want to do. That's totally open. That's what it's for. And you do not have to credit the book or me, although I do really love to see when people make things out of my motifs, and I like to promote them. So that's how that works. And obviously with the sweater design and those things with the blank charts, like those, if you just put in another motif, you couldn't copy and paste my text and say like, oh, this is a new pattern. But if you wanted to use that as a jumping off point for your own sweater design, where you come up with your own numbers and your own text and everything, that would be totally appropriate. So I'm hoping that this will be a tool that designers will use for many years. Like, this is my goal, is to have these books on knitters' bookshelves, and that anybody who wants to design can have them either use the motifs directly or like use them as inspiration and modify them for their own uses.
Sounds good. I'm just going to jump in. There was a comment a while ago. I don't know if, I think it was Jenny Luigi is still there, but she had a question about picking up yarn from our studio. So Jenny, if you're still there, I will just reach out directly, because I feel like we'll need some back and forth. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah.
But I did see the comment.
Okay.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions or comments from Andrea, go for it. We can see the comments popping up.
Perfect. And Catherine, do you want to talk about your whale yarn? And then if folks are asking questions, I can pay attention to that.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I've had this project that probably started at the beginning of this year that I thought was just going to be a quick, like, fun thing. And it has taken me, well, it's October now, so like 10 months, because life, but also sometimes the idea is great and then the implementation is a struggle. But anyway, we have, there's a group of whales called the southern resident killer whales, or southern resident orcas, that lives along the west coast of North America. We see them a lot, just near Victoria. And if you are taking a BC ferry and you see a whale, it's probably, if you see a killer whale, it's probably one of these guys. You're probably seeing one of the whales from J-Pod. So I went and took all the information from the individual whales that live in each family and turned them into yarn. So the different colors, the kind of reds and pinks are females, and the blues and greens are males. And the really important from a survival of the species point of view, these kind of corally and red ones are the reproductive age females. So when you have an at-risk or endangered population, you need babies. So we're cheering for these ladies here. And then the little guys here are the babies. So that's the little female whale. So these are all individuals that all have their own stories, and I will be posting more about that. All my information was from the Center for Whale Research, which is a fantastic organization based in Washington State, and they're out surveying the whales, and they have they publish a survey, like a guide with like a little family tree. Orcas live in matrilineal or matriarchal societies, so like this is the the grandma and her kids and her grandkids. They all kind of hang out together for their whole lives, and then there's individual identification.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
Whale, how to identify them by their shape of their fins, and these are called saddle patches. How old they are. I love it. So I'm excited to have this yarn out in the world. There's 3 pods. There's J pod, K pod, and L pod, and I have a separate skein for each group of whales.
That's
awesome. Exciting, and that's all on my website.
Are the gray stripes in between just like dividing stripes? Those are just like to keep them separate? Those
are just to keep them separate. Yeah. I was going to get rid of them, and then it was just too much.
A little bright.
Also, then if you have like these two beside each other, you can't tell where one starts and one stops. So
that's true. And what's the order that they're in?
A little bit random and a little bit keeping the families together.
Okay.
So this is a mom, and these would be her kids. I guess it makes more sense if they're. I'll have to consult my piece of paper, but I
cool.
kept them in these. Get my little chart. I kept them in these groupings.
Okay,
so this whale will be swimming above those whales.
Nice.
So they're all kind of tucked in together.
I love that data visualization. I'm actually wearing my checklist of bird socks right now, which I love. We did a project together where we represented some common birds in our area using colors and also some textures, like to show how common they are and which time of year. So that's just the kind of nerds we are, in case you're new around here. So that was one of our collaboration projects that we did.
I see Woolness just said that's water, which I assume was referring to the space, like the.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I originally wanted like a black to be part of the whales, and then blue water to separate them. And it was a great idea in my head, but you would have had to have very, very long socks to make that work. So
okay.
So we got here. But yes, they're just swimming along in the water, and it's just they're deep, so the water is quite dark. There we go.
That's very cool. While I'm thinking about what I'm wearing, I want to make one quick announcement since we're here, which is that for fans of the old Knitters Dude sweater, which is the Big Lebowski sweater that I'm wearing right now, it was published in 2015, and I just wanted to let everybody know that next week I will be publishing an update for the first time ever on these patterns. So I think it's going to make the knitting experience even better, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So if you want to know about that, you can sign up for my newsletter on my website, and I will also have a sale on the pattern starting next Wednesday. So if you're into that, sign up. And yeah, if you've always wanted to make it sized from baby to grown up, there are 2 patterns, one for kids and one for grown ups. So if you're into the Big Lebowski, excited about color work, it's a great sweater. So
I have a size 2. I knit a size 2, and it was adorable.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hilarious. I love seeing like multiple people matching in these sweaters. That's kind of my favorite thing, is like grown-ups and children matching in their sweaters. Pinka Knits does that amazingly. Kids and grown-ups matching in sweaters. It's incredibly cute. So yeah.
Well, I think that's what we have. Before we thank everyone for being here and head on our ways, if someone wanted to get their hands on a copy, local yarn shops do carry them. Where else can they for your book?
If you're in Victoria, I know some folks in our area do follow us here. So Monroe's Books is carrying it, which is like my heart. I was so honored. They actually featured it on their Instagram with their crafts editor, and I was like, I shop there for all my Christmas gifts and stuff. So that's my favorite local bookshop. So I was really honored. But Beehive also has it, and they will be hosting me for a party and a launch party on the 22nd. Received mine in the mail today from Starlight. Yes, I love Starlight Knitting Society in Portland, carries both of my books. So if you're in Portland, but yeah, the first place to look is your local yarn shop, your local bookshop. on my website, there are links that take you to my publisher's, so like the link through my publisher, and they have all these different options. So however you like to buy your books, including through indie bookshops, they're all right there. So you can choose there. It's available as an ebook, so you can get it on Kindle or Kobo or any of those kinds of things, not as a PDF. It won't be on Ravelry because Penguin Random House is my publisher and they do not do PDFs. It's just part of the cost of doing business with a large publisher. But you can get it as an ebook and as a print book on all the usual places. My website's Andrea Rangel or AndreaRangel.com. So there's a books tab where you can find all those links and everything. So if you want to buy it or put it on your holiday wish list, that's where you go.
Mm-hmm. I see another fan of Starlight.
Yeah,
in the comments. That's great.
it's a really cute shop, and they do all sorts of awesome stuff. So, and I'll give a shout out really quickly to the team who made this book. Speaking of the fact that this was done by a big publisher, Penguin Random House, the team that did it was Carrie Bogert, and she did the editing on alternate as well, and she put together this incredible team. So when you hold the book in your hands and you are admiring like the gorgeous cover and the weight of it, the paper that was chosen, the photographs, the book design, what it looks like, all of that, that was this incredible team that Carrie put together, and I'm so honored. So yeah, thank you for buying it in digital. I also pretty much buy all my books in digital, and I also wish that it came in PDF, but yeah, you take what you can get. So, but thank you for getting it in digital. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I do want to just say, and like the editing team was incredible. We had a consultant who helped with sizing on the sweater. So check all of the credits in the back of the book if you would, because those folks really did an amazing job to bring my vision to life, and I definitely did not do it on my own. So yay for them.
Alrighty, okay. Well, I think that's it today. So congratulations on your book. I know this has been a year and a half worth of your life that is finally out in the world, so that's very exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to have all that work that was like done without really sharing very much, and then finally to get to share it and then to see it like in physical form is very rewarding. So thanks for the congrats, and I really appreciate everybody who's been enthusiastic so far, and thank you for joining our live. It was lovely to see you all.
Thank you for joining us today, and I think maybe we'll do this again in
a month or so.
I was going to say next month, and I couldn't remember what month it is now. In November. We'll do this again in November.
Yes, time is flying.
All
right.
Sounds good.
Well, all right, thanks, Catherine. Good to see you. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.